tell more about like people or seniors who do exercise and seniors who do not do exercise, and how your exercise can help them not just move better but live life with happily and longer.
Well, I mean, it's a drastic difference between somebody who works out and doesn't work out. You can get away with it when you're young because you can kind of just generally stay in shape. I mean, I've had countless clients that come in, they've never resistance trained, but they talk about how strong they were when they were younger, and then they have a couple kids and then all of a sudden it starts to go. So, yeah, as we age, it's super important. I mean, if you look at any like of the studies and studies, I mean, they only go so far, but all-cause mortality and things like that go down when you have leg strength and you have grip strength. So, there's metrics that are super important for keeping longevity. Leg strength is one of them, challenging all the leg muscles. That's the hip joint, the knee joint, the ankle joint, making sure all those muscles that go around those joints are strong and capable so you can do more. I mean, it's pretty logical, like if you can't get up and get around and your muscles are not strong, you haven't taken care of your muscular system, you're going to do less, you're going to be more sedentary. And we know that being sedentary is not healthy for us, right? Or overall health. So, it makes a drastic difference. I mean, I see it all the time. I see people in my family who don't work out, and then I have clients who've been working out, maybe are 5 years older than them, and they can run circles. My client could run circles around family members,
Yeah.
or just other people that I know that don't work out, especially when you start getting like over 60, that becomes a big thing. In the area, in Sammamish area and in Redmond and Bellevue, we have a lot of tech professionals, and we help a lot of tech professionals. And I mean, countless times I get somebody who's over 50. They've always been working with a sedentary job. They're starting to develop, tweaks and aches and pains. And then within a few months of training, that all starts to dissipate and go away. So exercise makes a huge difference after 50 for sure. We should always exercise, I mean, I've been exercising since I was 18, um, but the older we get, the more important it is. And so to kind of like loop it back around to like what we do, it's also important to have something that it feels soft enough for you to be able to engage in, and it's not like this daunting workout, where you're sore for 5 days after, unless that's what you want. Um, Having an exercise professional that can train muscles in an appropriate way and meet your tolerance where it's at. So in a workout, we're not, here's your tolerance for exercise and forces, right? And then we're not going to be up here doing the whole glorified, like, try to make you sick with a workout, have you sore for several days. We want to meet that tolerance right where it's at, or maybe even a little bit below, so your tolerance can rise and we start to pick up the activity to coincide with that.
So, do you think like do you see the physical changes like stiffness, soreness, or fatigue get worse during the dark winter months here in Sammamish area?
Yeah, I mean, definitely arthritis and things like that start to kick in. So, clients will talk about like, their knee is starting to be a little bit more achy or their fingers and hands are a little bit more achy. So yeah, that can definitely happen, and so anytime that's going on, stimulating the tissues around that joint, right, in a light way, usually it's actually not as strenuous as you would think just for pain relief. That's one of the great benefits to exercise and resistance training. When you do it appropriately, you can do it to try to build muscle, which is great, but you can also do it as a pain reliever for a lot of this stuff, where you just get muscles around the joint working and stabilizing the joint. And so, with the colder months when that's happening, I mean, when a client walks in for every session, there's usually a quick check-in that we do, which is, hey, how are you feeling? Is anything bugging you? Do you have are you having any soreness anywhere, stiffness anywhere? And that's what's going to actually guide your workout. It's not a predetermined thing. We can have ideas in our head, right? But if you come in with a sore shoulder or sore elbow, it doesn't make sense for us to just do legs because I decided it's leg day. We want to address the problem area first, and then we move kind of organically through a workout and try to stimulate all the muscles if we can. So, I mean, I even have competitive athletes in jujitsu that I train, and sometimes we'll spend a 50-minute session just working on their elbow because maybe they tweaked it in practice earlier in the week. And so we'll spend a bunch of time on that. And then maybe the next week they come in, we're doing a really hard, strenuous workout, lots of legs, lots of upper body, lots of core, a lot of different exercises. Where the week before, maybe they were on a treatment table and we were doing very light manual exercise where I'm holding my hands into them and having them just kind of contract into me and try to make sure all the muscles are firing. So workouts need to be dynamic like that. They need to auto-regulate, like so depending on how you're feeling, we should communicate in the beginning of a session. And your trainer should definitely be doing that. It shouldn't be this thing that I've seen all too many times where you see six clients with a trainer over the course of a shift for them, and every client's doing the same exact workout, right? Because maybe that's what the trainer did for their workout, or because these clients aren't going to see who you like how you trained the last person. So in order for things to be truly customized, that to me is not customization of just like, hey, you're getting a different workout today that everybody's getting. Um, that doesn't really take skill. So what takes skill is actually communicating with a client, going, oh, okay, you're going to guide me where we go today. Like if you have an elbow issue or a shoulder issue or your maybe your hands are stiff today and they hurt, then maybe we do some light stuff for the hands and it's not working too well. Well, maybe when we do upper body, then I use cuffs and I put them on the wrist so we don't even load the hands that day, but we're able to get to all the muscles of the like shoulder joint and the elbow joint and let those hands rest. That's where the skill lies, is actually knowing enough about the body and being confident enough in your exercise that the client can come in and you can get a quick update and then you just go from there, right? It's like kind of like winging it, but it's in a very intelligent way. So it's like no matter where we need to go today with a workout, I mean, I'm going to go train clients at the gym right now. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with them because they can come in and they could have tweaked their foot on a walk or something like that. And then we have to address that first. So that's a big difference between kind of like regular training and then something that's truly customized.
Yeah, and sometimes like seniors fear because they didn't do the like exercise from a long time and they confused, and sometimes they have doubt like should they need to start training now or should they need to do it or not, specifically in the winters and specifically when they have their knee pain or arthritis issues or muscles pain or weakness, and sometimes people have thyroid issues so they have low energy. So I think people giving excuses like they have pain so they don't have stamina to go to gym. But I think, or you can like clarify like if people feeling those kind of issues specifically and they are like just delaying the thing, uh, how they can overcome from that issue, because they just need to start to feel better but they just like in their home and with that energy they are uh like just shadowing themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you got to start. The thing is, so like that's the kind of like the idea of like, well, I need to get in shape before I can get a trainer, you know. Everything that we've been talking about, that's completely the opposite. That's totally backwards. If you have the right trainer, you start in your worst physical state and they help you put together a program that builds you back up. So if there's any questions of should I wait, you should never wait. You shouldn't wait one more day to take care of your body and your muscular system. We don't like humans, we procrastinate sometimes and we tell ourselves these stories. And that story is just not a good one because it's not going to help your overall health. So you got to get doing something. And if you have the right exercise professional, and you should know, we know when we sit down with somebody for their consultation, we know by the end of it. And my consultations are typically just a sit down. I don't work anybody out on day one. I don't take on that risk. I explain things. I talk to them, talk about their goals, talk about what we might do for what they need. And then from there, we got to go from there. So, but you got to start right away. Uh, you know,
They-
Waiting it out and trying to find a program before you get into training, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's like you got to start somewhere. So you got to have somebody that can take you from a really bad state. One of the things that's interesting is when I was a younger trainer, like over a decade ago, um, when I would train people, I'd train them really hard, because I thought that's what training was, because I was like 21. And, you're training everybody how you train yourself. And so people would call out if they had a little injury, like, hey, I can't make it today. My knee's a little bit sore. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a workout.
yeah.
And that's like really kind of like a smack to the face for a trainer. And then now when somebody has a problem, they'll come more times a week to come address it. And so that to me is actually a sign of success in my own business and where I've gone with my education and the people that I can help is because instead of calling out because of an injury, they come see you more because they know you can help them.